Future Vicky here. So in today's video, I figure we would take a walk around the garden. It's been a little while since I've updated on how it's looking and how everything is doing. Some things are phenomenal. Some things are not good. And some things are very middle of the road. So we're gonna take a look. We're gonna see what there is to see. And yeah, let's do it. All right, so this bed is doing not so great, to be honest. Both the broccoli and the Brussels sprouts have just gotten totally eaten. So I think what I'm gonna do is actually just pull the broccoli up here and replant. I do have some beans soaking so that they can perhaps help with this bed. Also though, these marigolds are not doing super great either. So I don't know if maybe whatever is tunneling could very well be baby bunnies. We've seen baby bunnies, is impacting this too. So yeah, not the best update with this one. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Over here, we have the squash, and they're doing okay. Not doing amazing, but they're doing okay. I haven't seen any flowers yet, and I'm really not seeing the growth that I expected either. So, we'll have to see. And these marigolds have been doing quite well, so I'm not super concerned. They still have buds, so I think they'll continue to be fine. This was some sage that I had started. I don't know that it's going to make it. And there's also some little carrots in here. We'll see if they make it too. I'm really uncertain. So this bed is a little bit of a mixed bag. I am going to come through and give the grass a haircut here. So I think that will actually help the squash. I think it might be getting too much shade. All right. This is the cucumbers, and they're actually doing really super great. I need to get my act together and put up something for them to climb on because they are flowering. Whoa, if I don't fall over. They are flowering. So it won't be long before we have little cucumbers. So I need to work on that. And the two that I transplanted that came up way after and were shaded out by this guy, but they still lived, I put them in this container and they're doing super great. So yay. Yay. Now these guys, I think I'm gonna have to come up with another plan for this. I might have to get a trellis for these to grow on. What I think is happening, and what I've seen with the watermelon, which we'll talk about in just a second, but I think when the vines touch the galvanized metal, it burns them. Now I'm not 100% certain, but I'm concerned about that. So my original plan was to let these cascade down the hill, but maybe I can still do that, and I can just get a towel or something to kind of cover the metal, make it not so hot. But yeah, this bed is doing amazing. Look at this. Look at those guys. All right. Over here, this is the zucchini, and they do have their first flower. Of course, I don't expect anything from it though. But this grass is going to get a haircut too, and I'm going to come through and fertilize. I think that might be part of the issue with these squash, is that the beds haven't had any fertilizer. And so I feel that maybe they are just not growing as fast as they could because of that. I don't know. They're also maybe getting too much shade from these very tall marigolds. Now this was lemon basil. It is flowering and it is tiny. It did not do well. So I think I'm gonna let that go to seed all the way and collect the seeds, and then we'll try again next year. The carrots in this bed are doing much better. I wonder if it's because it gets slightly more shade, so it's not quite so hot as the bed below, but I don't know. All right, moving on. The okra is looking wonderful. They are quite tall. Particularly these 3 have gotten quite tall. These are struggling a little bit, and I think that's another seed that came up unexpectedly late, so I might try to move it into this empty spot here. Move that one over, but oh, that baby bunny just ran through the grass. So yes, working on this. We'll see. The thyme is growing quite well. I'm pleased with that. And I think this was a lemon basil that I transplanted here, and it's also living. So that's good. That's good. What's on the underneath of this leaf? Just ants. Okay. Well, hopefully the ants do not actually harm the okra. It looks like we might be getting some starting. I don't know. But yay, this is looking great. Okra is one of my very favorite things to plant and to eat. So pretty pleased with this and how it's going. Which then takes us to this bed, which is not going great. So there's watermelon in the front and the back, from this angle anyway. The vines keep dying. So I don't know if it's insects or if it's the metal raised bed, but I'm just about ready to give up on the watermelon for this year, and try again, mostly because one of the 2 varieties required the other one in order to produce fruit, and I did not label which one was which, and I do not think this second plant is going to live. So I don't know. I might give it a little bit longer, but if I can't figure out why the vines keep dying off, there's just no point. I got really discouraged when I did have a little baby watermelon growing on one of the vines, and then it died. And so I'm just like, wow, it's a little discouraging. This was Brussels sprouts. It has been completely destroyed by bugs, as you can see. So I'm going to pull those out. I have beans soaking for this. I'm going to put beans here. I think that might just work a little bit better. We'll see. But yeah, this is not doing too great. Also, the water issue is a little bit better, but it's still quite soggy, both for this bed here and the one with the broccoli in it. So I think I might hold off just a little bit on replanting until I can see if there's any other action that can be taken to make it less soggy. It just seems like a good idea. See, the ground is still kind of seeping water in this section, this whole section here. Now, by the time we get to the ground cherries, the ground is actually quite firm, so I'm not too concerned here. But the ground cherries are growing really, really well. We're getting maybe half a handful a day, several a day. So this has been great. Oh, that was another baby bunny. Perhaps the same one. But this has been just an absolute delight. I have never grown these before, never eaten them before, and they are just doing so great. It has just been really fun to see them and to pick them and to enjoy them. This is what they look like. It's got like a husk, and then you just peel it back, and it's got a little golden fruit. And we've been snacking on these. And then I also have a bag started in the freezer for some. I'm going to try to make a pie with them. We'll see. But yeah, this is growing super great, which is interesting because whatever ate the radishes clearly does not like ground cherries. Because the radishes I got, maybe one that I thought I pulled a little too soon and one that was way too soon. And then the rest of these I don't think are even going to make a radish because the leaves are destroyed. Such is life. Which brings us here. So this is peppers in the back, and then onions and parsley. And it's doing great. Except for this pepper. I don't know what variety that is. I thought I had 2 of each of the varieties that I started from seed, but clearly I don't, because one of these is not like the others, right? And it's just not doing. I don't know what it's doing. Well, time will tell. But these have gotten kind of bigger and they seem to be doing pretty well. And we've got our first few flowers kind of coming in on them. So I'm excited to see how those are going to do. I think they're going to do pretty good. All right. Over here, this tomato, I kind of put a cage in the middle to help support this, but I don't know if it's a long-term solution. We'll kind of have to see, but considering that it broke down to nothing, it is doing so much better. And I have tomatoes starting on these, which are very exciting. So the basil that's under here too is doing pretty well. I've harvested this several times now. There's 3 basil plants in there. So overall good things are happening in the container now, which is great. It was not always like that. The tomato plants are just way bigger than I expected at this point. Little ladybug, you see it? Yay, eat the bad things. But so I'm not really sure. I think what I'm going to try to do is maybe get a trellis situation going so they can go up and over. Because these vines are certainly going to outrank my posts here in not very long. But there are lots and lots of baby tomatoes on these. Just so many. And even these that have a lot of shade, look at that. I'm really excited to see how big this is. And nothing looks like it's starting to get any color on it yet, but look how big these are. And I know there's a spider in here because I see its web. But look how big those are. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. There's so many little tomatoes, and these are the ones that have the most shade. So, you know, if these are doing well, I'm confident this big tangled mass of tomato down here is probably doing pretty great. The beans that are here have grown. These are seeds that I started after the tomatoes were well kind of established. And some of them are definitely getting a little too much shade from all of this, but I'm encouraged, especially when I see this. There you go. See, that looks like it's starting to actually produce. So can't wait to see how this will go. And there's another basil down there at the end, which is growing pretty well too. So this I'm very encouraged by. Same thing with the beans over here. Now I did lose a couple of plants. So see, something came through and literally just ate this, which could be the baby bunnies. We know there are baby bunnies. So I don't know, that plant might not live. But these are going okay. So yeah, that's discouraging. That was not here this afternoon. But at least the bunnies are leaving the tomatoes alone. These tomatoes are doing quite well. I'm pretty sure that these are the vernissage tomatoes. So I lost my labels. I didn't do a great job, and I don't know what things are. But when I was talking to my sister this weekend, she said that when she grew them last year, they did have the stripes like this. So that's what I'm thinking this whole bed is. And there is a bunch of them in here. Just a whole bunch. Look at that. So I can't wait to start seeing some color develop on something. But this is growing really well. I'm starting to trim the grass, and I'm going to put the grass down as like a mulch, just to help a little with some water retention as we get into these 90 and 100 degree days. So this bed then should be a lot of the cherry tomatoes, which would make sense given kind of how many we're seeing and how small they are. But these plants are just absolutely loaded. So what I'm gonna try to do is come in here and prune out some of this. I researched online, and I know these are now indeterminate tomatoes, so pruning back some of the leaves so I can actually see what's going on in here should not be an issue. But look how many. I'm very excited. I'm very excited. So yeah, and then the last thing I did, which is absolutely hilarious to me that this has a tomato growing on it, but one of the suckers from the Cherokee Purple, I actually put in this cup of water here to root, and not only has it not died, and it has developed roots quite a bit, but it's got a little tomato growing, which is, again, kind of hysterical for me. So it needs to go in the ground. But that's great. That's very encouraging. I'm very happy with that. And then the herbs, I have not killed them, so they're still doing good. The sage that is in here is actually doing better, I think probably because I moved these back a little further on the patio, and they're getting not a full day's worth of sun, so it's a little cooler. This was mint that had died. I left it inside in a dark corner, but hey, you put it outside and you give it a little water and it lives again. Yay, mint. These are the sort of second round of the flowers, and they aren't dead yet. So hopefully by the end of the summer at this point, gosh, we'll actually get some flowers out of that. And then this is my mint pie. I'm not worried about this. I'm sure this is going to do great because it's hard to kill mint, as evidenced by the one over there. So I keep harvesting out of this. I've harvested several times for tea at this point, so this I'm very pleased with. So yeah, that's a little garden update. Everything is looking pretty good except for two entire beds, which kind of have not done well, but otherwise we're really doing pretty well, and I'm very pleased and excited to actually harvest things other than the lettuce and the ground cherries. But anywho, till next time, bye.